Well, nice to see you, Vara. Welcome. Oh, you're on mute.
Thank you, Lynn.
And welcome, everyone, online. Nice to have you all with us. Going to enjoy a nice meditation, the point of it all. Plus, we do have a lovely talk from 1983, a public program in Boston, that will pay about 10, 12 minutes of that. We'll give you the link so you can listen to the rest of it at your leisure as well. But there's a few interesting subjects in that talk, Vara.
Yeah. In that speech, Shri Mataji talks about this concept of non-violence from the point of Buddha.
Mm-hmm.
So, but she also, prior to that, she also talks about God, right? And in these modern times, it's usually the elephant in the room. We don't want to talk about God, or you might hurt somebody's feelings because there are people who are atheists, and there are people who are agnostic. So atheist people, they don't believe that there is God, and agnostic people, are more like everything goes, they may be, they not be, but I don't judge people based on that. That's, did you pick the fact that this is a fairly modern sort of view, Lynn? Because I feel throughout the history, uh, God has been the center of our existence. Yes, people have made silly things by using God's name. So I think as a society, I feel we tend to throw the baby with the bathwater.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you go to any of the art galleries of the world, there's so many thousands of years of art that only depicted interpretations of God and beautiful, godly things. And
Right.
the period of time of now is sort of no God and destruction.
Correct. And then I think a friend of mine, quite a learned person, he said, in the absence of God, we all become our own gods.
Yeah, I guess we're wanting to be
And that what that means is that because I am God, whatever opinion I have is the opinion. So imagine you are a God and I'm a God, and my opinion is better than your opinion, God. That means you're not the real God, and I win. And then we have all this. Everybody, there is no binding force. So I feel yes, the established religions have messed it up quite a bit. However, that doesn't mean that we don't respect the concept of God. Personally, I feel it makes me humble, like when I ascribe to this higher power called God. It makes me humble in the sense that there are so many things to learn that I don't know anything about.
But Vara, it's so hard to hold on to that feeling of humility, isn't it? There's always something to drag your attention away from the
It
basic
will.
reality.
Totally. That's what happens when I'm my own God. Whatever thought comes to me is the best. I can't really learn. I don't need to be curious.
And I went to back to our old friend Will Shakespeare, and all the world's a stage. And that, to me, I always think, oh, yeah, all the world's a stage. And who's the audience? Well, it's divine watching you, you know?
Yeah.
And so you shouldn't actually be that frivolous, but ultimately I am.
I think in that as you like it, he is it 7 stages?
Yes, yes.
It's interesting, isn't it? In 7 stages, and in Sahaja Yoga we have the subtle system which has 7 chakras. So see, when you sort of make yourself humble, and then you start to see these patterns,
Yeah.
you can always say, "Oh, who is Shakespeare? I don't care. I can start my own thing today." And then we never learn from the history, and that is probably why we suffer as a society, that we never learn the lessons from history.
Yeah.
So I feel I thought I'd talk about that elephant in the room because Shri Mataji talks a lot about that God in the speech. So that's my personal um, take on it. And also, for example, if you know everything, if you're God and you know everything, why do you need to come to this place? There's nothing you need to learn, right? So if you are a little bit humble, and then maybe there is something that Shri Mataji will tell that we have no idea about, and perhaps we can learn from it. And if it is making sense, then we follow through it, and then dig it more so that we get all these pearls of wisdom, which has been amalgamated from history, from her own experience, and the experience that is she's very happy to give to us.
And as soon as we can get into that thoughtless state, we can suck it all in.
Yeah. Maybe it's worth you explaining what thoughtless state is. It's interesting. English is an interesting language. Sometimes when you say you're thoughtless, it means you're so dumb.
Yeah.
You can't have any thoughts. So you might want to explain that a little bit.
Well, the idea is that thoughtlessness is the stage above your thinking, as opposed to, oh, you haven't quite got to the thinking. It's you've gone past the thinking. So that's that seventh center where we're getting our self-realization and getting connected with that center. And that's where the silence comes. And the thoughts are not that highly evolved, really. And they're holding us down. I mean, literally either in the future or the past, isn't it? And the only way to be in the present is not to think about it. And I guess also it's that space between the thoughts that we're trying to aim for.
Yeah, the whole modern thinking is about, I think, therefore I am.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, when I think about my laundry that I haven't done in the last 2 weeks, therefore I am. So like, yeah, okay, so you're equating yourself to the laundry basket. Oh, wow, well done. So I like what you said about beyond thoughts.
Yeah.
So there is something beyond thoughts. Yeah. So that's that's a way to explain thoughtless awareness. Yeah. And then in that state where you're beyond the thoughts, you become aware of your own existence in some ways. And then you start to be conscious that you're actually a pure spirit. And then there it goes from there on.
Yeah. Or you're not a pure spirit.
Or you're not a pure spirit, yes. So perhaps after we listen to Shri Mataji's advice, we can go through that realization process.
Okay. Yep. That's a good idea. All right. We'll just put this talk on now. We'll listen to about 10, 12 minutes.
Yeah.
And then just sort of stop at an appropriate moment and go into the meditation.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Put that on for us.
I bow to all the seekers of truth. Definitely it is evident today that you have come here all the way in the rain to seek the truth, that you are real seekers. And the real seekers will find the real way. Whatever they may do, whatever wrong paths they may take, they may identify themselves with wrong things also, and may oppose in the beginning the truth, but ultimately they will all find the real path as long as they do not try to deceive themselves. The awakening of the Kundalini is not a new thing as you people may be thinking. It has been done since 16th century back, where it is said Indra, the god king, was given realization. So you can imagine that is called as Chidendra. Means the Indra was made a hole here. And there's a place where it was done in India. It's a very ancient thing, and at the time of Rama also, there was a fellow called Nachiketa who came to Rama's father-in-law, Janaka, and asked him if he could get his self-realization. And the father-in-law said that you can ask anything but not for your realization. He said, no, I don't want anything else but realization. And they say that he put him to test many a time for years, and then he was the first who got realization at the time of Sri Ram. It is very interesting that how this system of self-realization was kept more or less exclusive and rather secretive, because the people would like always to use this method to make some money out of it. That they would not respect the reality and would learn, say, about few chakras, kundalini, this, that, few words, and start selling books or posing that they are born again and impressing others with it, and try to make some cults or some sort of groups, just forming into some falsehood. And that is the reason this was kept quite a secret. But on the right hand side of the seeking, they tried to find out the ways and methods how to initiate the elements within us. The causal of elements. First to initiate the causal of the elements by which we could control the elements for our own purpose. This was one way where they called it as the yagya and all that. And that's how the Vedas were written. Veda means vida, means to know. These were written to say that you have to know. And at the very beginning of the Vedas, it is written that after reading this book throughout, if you have not known the truth, it is of no use to you. The very first stanza says so. So the whole thing was done with that idea. And in the ancient country of India, they started working on the right side to know the subtle body or the subtle deities of all the elements so that they could master the elements. This was first idea. On the left hand side, they started another kind of a search in believing that there is God and we have to ask the help of God. And they started praying first to primordial mother. Because in every religion there is a place for the mother. There is no religion which does not believe in the primordial mother. You can say that at the time of Muhammad Sahib, he didn't talk much about it because the time was such. But his own daughter was an incarnation of the primordial mother, whose name was Fatima. And the two sons that were born to her are the sons who came on this earth also as Mahavira and Buddha. And they were born even earlier. Like that, they were born again and again as there's two elements as the disciples, as two disciples. And you can see if you read their life, their character, their behavior, you'll be surprised how these two characters have been born again and again in different times to suggest two personalities of two types who have been seeking God and who have been trying to understand God through their personality as disciples, and how they reached a conclusion after taking a kind of a position in life. Now, for example, Buddha preached that there should be complete non-violence, and also Mahavira said so, there should be non-violence. But they carried it to such an extent that Mahavira's disciples started saving the bugs. They would get some bugs from the village, put them in a hut, and put a Brahmin inside that. Fanaticism had reached that stage. And the bugs would eat or take out the blood of that poor Brahmin, and when they would be all filled with blood, then they would give money to this Brahmin. Such extreme vegetarianism or extreme type of ahimsa, or another type of Buddha's ahimsa that started, that Buddha was not the one who was a vegetarian because he died. At the end, you know that he ate the meat of a boar which was not properly cooked. So this kind of extreme type of food oriented religion started out of them, so they got themselves born again as Hassan and Hussein. And righteousness, when it comes to the time, not a person who is a religious person. So the idea of all these people was in such a way that the time at that period was such and such, and at that period this was the proper thing to be done. Now we can see the example of Christ is, Christ came at a time where the Son of God had to manifest. And he came at a time where he had to forgive. And he had to show to people how stupid they were to crucify, so that they could repent for what stupidity they have done. And that's how he came on this earth. But when he will come again, he is not going to come in that way. The second advent of Christ is going to be a very serious one. When he will come, he will have 11 destroying powers. With that, he will destroy all that is useless, all that has gone wasted, all those fanatics or whom they call Christ, I won't know, he's told that very well. All these things he is going to absolutely finish off. And those who are realized souls who have entered into the kingdom of God will be only saved. And this is what is described in all the scriptures. Of course, somebody calls them, say, Islam calls it Mahdi. In India, he is called as Kalaki. In the Bible, he is called as the Christ on the white horse. He is called by various names. But it is definite that he is going to come. And when he comes, then he is not going to bother as to tell you and convince you and to counsel you or to redeem you and give you realization. That time, he is not going to bother about it. He is going to come in pure destructive form, where he will destroy all that is useless. And to understand this, if you see the Sistine Chapel of Michelangelo, you can see him clearly standing at the Agya Chakra with a robust body, throwing people up and down. Those who call Christ, he throws them down, because they did not do anything what Christ has asked for. Now the people should know what we have got out of anything whatsoever. You may be identified with any cult, with any idea, with any group or anything, but always must know what you have got out of it. For example, I would say for Christians, it is necessary to know that Christ has said a very strong thing. Thou shalt not have adulterous eyes. Let us find out, do we have innocent eyes? If we don't, we are not Christians. How do we have innocent eyes? How do we develop our innocence is the problem. And to develop our innocence, we have to awaken the Kundalini. When the Kundalini is awakened, the first center of innocence is awakened. At that time, all the excretion work of the body just stops. And this center of Muladhara informs the Kundalini that there is somebody who knows the job and you can rise. Then only the Kundalini rises. This center of innocence is first awakened within us. If this center finds that the person is anti-God, he is anti-Christ, he is a man who is a devil, or any sort of a thing, it just does not allow the Kundalini to rise. I have seen people with absolute frozen Kundalini. I have seen people who have nothing to do with Kundalini. We can say they are just like devils, and they have no way that they can be realized. But 99% people in this world are excellent people, good people. And out of them, I think at least 30 to 40% people are seeking God. Not all. Some are seeking money, some are seeking power, and some are seeking some personal indulgences. But there are definitely true seekers on this earth, and these 30% people are, or 40% people are the most important people from the God's point of view. You might be anything. You might be having any organization. You might be having any position in life. You might be any great personality. Makes no difference to God. What is important is that are you seeking? If you knock, the door will be open, has been promised. But if you think you have already achieved it and that you are there, how can it be worked out? So one has to be humble about it and allow the Kundalini to rise in its own glory, giving you your real beauty. Now the thing we have to know that as the Kundalini ascends, we also start getting powers. The first power is that of innocence. Innocence has a power above all other powers. It's the most powerful thing. But in the human beings, it takes time for innocence to be awakened in the full way. It takes time. As a child, they have the innocence. And in childhood, if they get their awakening, that's the best thing that can happen to human beings, that in childhood only they get the realization. But as soon as you start growing, your attention starts going either to the left or to the right. You start indulging into all kinds of things as far as your sex is concerned, as far as your seeking is concerned, and you then jump on to some sort of a wrong thing which you should not have done. And that's how the first center gets lost. An innocent person is looked after by angels. Such a person has no fear of anything. He is not bothered. He is never violent. He is never hasty. He is never in a temper. He is so peaceful, and he knows that what he is doing is the right thing. Such a person stands by righteousness. Like you can see in the life of Christ, is a very good example. That very Mary Magdalene was stoned by people. He stood up and he said, among you who has done no sin can throw the stone at her. Actually, Christ had nothing to do with a prostitute. He had no relationship of any kind with her. She is a prostitute and he is the Son of God. But at that time he did feel that she has a right to exist, because those who are stoning her are the people who have committed also sins. Only she is a person who is exposed, and he stood by her. And that is what happens to a person who is innocent. He is fearless. He has no fear of anything, because he knows that he stands on truth and on innocence. Such a person also has a capacity to bear up lots of nonsense, to laugh at lots of tortures and troubles people bestow upon him. And the greatest thing of innocence is that it gives you discretion. Such a person is immensely discreet. He is so wise. He may be a little child, he may be a grown-up person, he may be a villager, he might be educated, he might be uneducated, but he is so wise that he sees what is right and what is righteous. And this is the greatest quality of an innocent person, that he is very discreet about everything. His discretion is just like a straightforward hit. He doesn't have to think, he doesn't have to bother. Whatever he decides is absolute discreet, and he doesn't have to have choices. He doesn't go on choosing people, he doesn't go on choosing things. He said, this is the thing, finished. So such a person becomes absolutely dynamic, because he doesn't waste any energy, he doesn't waste his brains, he doesn't waste his arguments with anyone. If he thinks the person is worth arguing, he'll argue, otherwise he'll say, all right, you are clever, go ahead. This is the understanding of a person who is completely discreet. Like there was a very big joke about it, that there was a man who was going up the road, up the stairs, and another one was coming downstairs. The one who was going up the road was a wise man, and the one who was coming down was not a wise man. So he tried to be aggressive, and he told him that I will not move for you, because I don't move for fools. So the other one moved on one side and he said, I do. Meaning I move out for fools. See, but he said, I do, and he moved out. So he has such a discretion, how far to go and how far not to go. Now I will give an example how in nature you can find this very easily. See, the root has a little root cap. It's a very, very small, minute thing. You have to see through the microscope. Now this root cap is a wise thing. It goes in the soil. It sees there are some stones, so it goes round the stones. Then it finds there are boulders, it goes round the boulders. It has to find its way, so it's not bothered. You are a boulder? All right, doesn't matter. I'm not going to fight with you. It passes through that, it goes directly to that place where it has to arrive. And when he reaches that place, when he arrives that place, what happens? He finds that he has tied up these boulders around himself to support the whole tree. This is the wisdom of a little bit, small little cell, which is the root end. So you can imagine how much there is wisdom in a little cell like that. And God has given us such a good brain, and if we do not have discretion, we are like people who are...
It was an interesting story about about the fool?
Yes, yes. Such a good joke. Yeah, and interesting about the quality of innocence.
You know that word, like the word innocence. I think in the modern lingo, it's sort of is seen a bit more like a naivety and stupidity, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not as popular as being smart. And
Yeah, I think for innocence, we can probably equate it more like a child who has a purity around them. Is that?
and everybody loves a child. Everybody, and nobody can tolerate anything mean being done to a child. So
Hmm.
that is a universal quality that's definitely
So you
respect.
mean innately we appreciate
Yeah,
innocence here?
and we won't tolerate anyone being mean to an innocent person.
Hmm.
Maybe.
So it's more of a desired quality than a you know than a naive thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, something natural that's there that we lose later. So it's there when we're little. Um,
Mm. So we have to work hard to lose it in
yeah.
that sense. Yeah. So should we go through the realization? Shall I walk everyone through that?
Do you want me to put the slide of the inner workings of us?
Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So for those of you who are new, this is your decoding chart for those who have been there before. It's a bit of a repetition. So what we'll do is we'll walk through different energy centers. You see, there's energy centers on the palm. You see 7 of them, which are represented in the central channel, and then you have two channels on the left and the right. So they are the we call them the moon and the sun channels. I was talking to a friend, and we thought of this analogy. If you take a car, you get the crucial parts like the crankshaft, like the engine, and so on. So those you can call as as the energy centers, the chakras. And then you have this steering, uh, which is usually in the middle, and that's the one that tells you if you're going straight or not. And then you have if you're overspeeding, you use the brake. And then if you want to, which is actually also brake is on the left side, I think generally. And then if you want to accelerate, you go to the right. So when you don't want to have an accident, you drive the car straight, and then you use the brake and the accelerator to sort of balance it. Now, if you just keep accelerating, there is a problem. If you just hold the brake on, there is a problem because you're not going anywhere. It's no point buying the car if you want to use the brake only. And then the car goes. The single most thing that is important for the car to go is the fuel, and that fuel is the one that is in this chart at the triangular area. We call it the sacrum one, inside which is that secret energy stays, and only when that energy is activated, our our existence in this world continues in a balanced way. Otherwise, we're hitting the brake too often, or we're hitting the usually hitting the brake too often is harmful for ourselves, and hitting the accelerator too often is initially harmful to others, but it ends up being harmful to us. So for this system to be activated, uh, Shri Mataji came up with what she says is, I'm giving you what you already have. So she's very humble. She says, oh, I'm not doing anything great, but of course she is. So in accepting the knowledge that she is giving us, we have to have this respect towards what she's doing. That's why we often use her photograph. In a way, also we're not stealing her thing. Like we put her photograph to acknowledge that, Shri Mataji, you are the one who gave this. We just continuing the journey with your knowledge to others. So do you have the other slide, Lynn, with
Oh, yeah.
all the affirmations? Yeah, that's it. So what we do is we put our both our hands on the lap, and then we'll move our right hand to different places of our body. So I'll explain where the location is. So, but if you're really not sure where the location is, you can quickly open your eyes and place your right hand on that point. So left hand doesn't move. So we saw let's say our brake doesn't move, and the accelerator is just going through different parts of the body. So we can keep our eyes closed. It's quite a beautiful experience when you're able to keep your eyes closed. So when you put your hands both on the lap and put your right hand on top of the head, you can press it a little bit. So you're pressing it so that you're bringing your attention into yourself. So it's like to push the car analogy. Your attention is on the road, even though you're moving your hands and you're moving your hands to do the steering. You're moving your legs or feet to control, and you're talking to the people in the car. You're not just sitting there quietly. So that's what we mean by attention. So you're still pursuing your goal of going forward while doing all these things. So in the same way, you take your attention to within yourself. Then when you settle there, just for a moment, note your state. So as in, do you feel calm inside, or do you feel a little bit agitated, or do you feel the brain is running? Do you feel that you're sitting here, you're committed to this meditation session, and yet your brain is asking or reminding you of the things that you don't really want to be reminded of right at this moment? So just make a note of your state. We'll do that for a few seconds. All right. Now we will go through this process, what Shri Mataji describes as the process of self-realization. When we put our right hand on the heart, the manifestation of self within ourselves is in our heart in the form of the spirit. In the Vedas, the spirit also is described as a reflection of God Almighty in every human being. With this affirmation that we are going to say, we can say it several times in any language that we like. We acknowledge that spirit. So we say, Mother, I am the pure spirit. Also, in acknowledgement to the knowledge that Shri Mataji has given us, we refer to her as Mother. Mother, I am the pure spirit. You can translate these words as I am the pure spirit into any language that is comfortable to you, and repeat it in your hearts. Mother, I am the pure spirit. Mother, I am the pure spirit. This spirit is really unencumbered and unblemished. It's quite a special thing, really. So enjoy that acknowledgement that you have been created as a reflection of God Almighty. It's more important than all the matter that we own and gain. Mother, I am the pure spirit. Mother, I am the pure spirit. Now you move your right hand a little bit below on the left side of your stomach. You can ask yourself this question. Mother, am I my own master? The advertisers in the modern day really make us, they say this thing that you are your own master, that sort of thing, and try to make us believe that. But if we question whether that is really the case, if we are our own masters, why do we get into addictions of mobiles and TVs and gathering matter? We look at ourselves honestly and we ask, Mother, am I my own master? Please repeat this several times in your heart. Mother, am I my own master? You put your hand, move your right hand where your leg meets the tummy in that joint. Push the hand towards yourself. And we can become truly our own master with pure knowledge. So we ask for that pure knowledge. And to ask and receive, we need to be humble. So very humbly we ask, Mother, please give me that pure knowledge. Mother, please give me the pure knowledge. Once again, repeat that several times in your heart. Mother, please give me the pure knowledge. You can associate the pure knowledge to the knowledge of that root that Shri Mataji was talking about, that instinctively goes and finds its destination. It's that kind of knowledge we're talking about, not the knowledge that we gain from Google and stuff. Mother, please give me the pure knowledge. We put our right hand back on the left side of the stomach. Mother, I am my own master. Mother, I am my own master. Mother, I am my own master. We place our hand on the heart, step number 5. Once again, we affirm, Mother, I am the pure spirit. Mother, I am the pure spirit. Mother, I am not the ideas that I carry. Mother, I am not the responsibilities I take. Mother, I am not the burdens that other people project onto me. Mother, I am the pure spirit. Which is completely free. We put our right hand on the left side of the neck. Here we say, we try and we get rid of our guilt. It's a sort of a, guilt is a bit of a interesting control mechanism. It just doesn't let you be in peace. So in some ways what we're doing is to just identify ourselves with the spirit and not with the self-imposed guilt. So we say, as pure spirits, Mother, I'm not guilty. Mother, I'm not guilty. Mother, I'm not guilty at all. Mother, I'm not guilty. We place our right hand on the forehead. And we acknowledge this very underrated power, the power of forgiveness. The Mother, please let me forgive everyone. We say, Mother, I forgive everyone, including myself. Mother, I forgive everyone. Mother, I forgive myself. Mother, I forgive everyone. Mother, I forgive myself. Mother, I forgive everyone. Mother, I forgive myself. Like in step 8, let's put our right hand on the back of the head. Lift our head a little up. So we may have done mistakes in the past. It's nice to be able to ask the power that created us, God Almighty, to forgive us for all the mistakes that we may have done in the past, knowingly or unknowingly. We don't have to try and remember the list of all of those things. So we just unconditionally ask with a very humble heart, Mother, please forgive me for all the mistakes from my past, knowingly or unknowingly. We simply say, Mother, please forgive me. Mother, please forgive me. Mother, please forgive me. And we place our right hand on top of the head. Press it down, attention on the top. And here we ask, Mother, please give me my self-realization. Mother, please keep me in thoughtless awareness. So once you get your self-realization, the effect is that you're able to get into thoughtless awareness. So you can ask for both. Mother, please keep me in thoughtless awareness. Mother, please give me my self-realization. So repeat that prayer several times in your heart. When you're ready, you can put your hand back to the lap and keep your eyes closed. Lynn will continue this state of mind. If you can play some music.
Mm.
while you're in this state, take your attention to the top of the head. And just make a note of whether you are observing anything at all. A certain sense of coolness or warm or if you just feel a sense of peace, that's refreshing. Now, if you are, that is a basic manifestation of Kundalini from the base of your spine, touching your spirit and taking you to this state of thoughtless awareness. It has been promised to us for a while, but has been delivered by Shri Mataji using this simple process. Now, this experience can be a daily occurrence if you meditate every day. For that, we can see how Lin shows us the process of raising the Kundalini.
So we can, using our left and right hand, the left hand of our desire and the right hand of the action winds around that left hand. It's raising up. We're going up to the top, 7th chakra, and tying a knot. We'll do that 3 times, the 3 channels. Second time, 2 knots. The third time, 3 knots. And then we'll do this protection, doing these vibrations in an arc over our entire body, over and back 7 times. Which, as Vara mentioned, we can just do this to do our daily meditation, to start and finish our daily meditation. That's about 7.
Or I think we just want to stay in this state, Lin. So how about you play some music and people can stay along?
Let's do that.
And just to close off from me is, if you can pick a time that's comfortable to you, and then maybe stick to the same time, about the same time every day, it really helps in having that routine for meditation.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, see you all. Have a nice evening.
I'll put the link of the talk
Yeah.
in the chat. Most people are on. Just pop that in the chat. Yep, that's there now in the chat, everyone. And some more music on. Thanks, everyone. Good night. See you next week.